All right, number 1, solve the system of equations using substitution. I'm going to actually do these problems a couple of different ways. I'm going to actually work out the process, but then I am going to show you, if I have multiple choice, how I can do it a little bit differently. All right, so if it says to use substitution, I'm going to take the x, put a little star by that one, and then we're going to come up here, instead of the x, y minus 1 is going to go up in its place. So I'm going to have 2 parentheses, y minus 1 plus y equals 4. I'm going to distribute, so I'll get 2y minus 2 plus y equals 4. Adding my like terms, 2y plus y is 3y minus 2 equals 4. And then adding 2, 3y will equal 6. And if I divide by 3, y will equal 2. And notice the only one that has that is choice B. Right? Another way that I could have done this, if you did not remember how to do substitution, I could have actually taken this. Let's say I have 2x plus y equals 4, and I have x equals y minus 1. I want to find out which one of these points will work in both equations. So if I were to plug 2 in for the x and 1 in for the y, on this one I would have gotten 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5, and 5 definitely does not equal 4, so that one didn't work. And then if I would have tried the second one, plug in, again, plug in 1 for, this time plug in 1 for the x and 2 for the y. Did I do that right? Oh, this was a 2, sorry. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 2 is 4. So notice I did get a true statement. And then go on the next one. My x was 1 and my y was 2. 2 minus 1 is 1, and both of those worked. So that point worked in both equations. So that was just another way of doing it. All right, the next one, solve the system of equations using elimination. Remember, we would like to eliminate either the x or the y. I'm going to multiply this top equation by 2 to make that happen. So I'm going to get 6x minus 4y equals 38. And then I noticed right here, if I were to add the two equations, the y's would cancel out. So I would get 11x equals 17 plus 38 is 55. And then if I divide both sides by 11, I get x is equal to 5. And notice I can stop right there because I notice the only choice that works is D. All right, one other thing that I could have done here, which I've taught some of my classes, I could have multiplied the top equation by 5 and the bottom equation by 3, and that would have helped you eliminate the variables as well. All right, problem 3, write an equation of the line that passes through the points 2, -3, and -1, 3. All right, if I want an equation of the line, I want y equals mx plus b. The first thing that I need to find is the slope. So this will be x1, y1, x2, y2. The slope is y2 minus y1, so it's going to be 3 minus -3 over x2 minus x1, -1 minus 2. So this will give me 6 over -3, which is equal to -2. So if I'm looking at the slope of -2, I can already cross off C and D because they have the wrong slope. And now if you recall, we're going to have y equals mx plus b. Just pick one of those points. I'm just going to pick the first one. My y would be -3. My m I just found out was -2. My x is 2 plus b, so I'll get -3 equals -4 plus b. If I add 4 to both sides, I'll get that b equals 1. So on part A, notice I have a b value of 1. Alrighty, number 4, write an equation of the line that is parallel to y equals 2x minus 7 and passes through -6, 4. Okay, if it's parallel to this, the slope of this line is 2, so I know the slope of my line, since it's parallel, also has to be 2, which once again gets rid of choices C and D. And then from here, I'm going to work it just how I did number 3. I have y equals mx plus b. This is your x and this is your y. So I'll have 4 equals 2, because that was our slope, times the x, which is -6 plus b. So I'll get 4 equals -12 plus b. And then if I add 12 to both sides, my b value will end up being 16, which is choice B. Okay, number 5, which of the following graphs does not represent a function? Well, looking at these, we definitely will just look at which ones are going to pass the vertical line test. Number 1 passes, number 2 passes, number 3 passes, number 4 does not pass because that vertical line passes through that picture twice, so it definitely is going to be choice D. All right, number 6, f of x equals x cubed plus 4. Find f of 2. All we need to do is go in here, plug in 2 for the x, so I'll get 2 cubed plus 4. 2 to the third is 8, plus 4 is 12, so my answer will be D. Number 7, solve and graph We have negative 2x plus 7 is less than or equal to 19. So I will subtract 7 from both sides to start with. I'll get negative 2x is less than or equal to 12. I'll divide by negative 2, so I'll get x, negative 6, and since I divided by negative, the less than or equal to sign is going to change to a greater than or equal to sign, so that's my answer. And then graphing it, let's put some numbers on both sides. I'll get an equal sign. I'll put it, closing circle because of the equal sign. Greater than is all the numbers to the right. Alrighty, number 8. This one, I'm going to draw, I'm a line drawer on this one. We want to get the stuff inside, just an x in there, so I'm going to subtract 1 from all 3 parts. I'll get negative 6, 3x, 9. Then I'll divide all 3 parts by the 3. I'll get negative 3, less than x, less than 3. Well, less than, this is 2. Negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. Alright, so I'm going to have negative 2 on my number line, 3, I'll put a 0 in the middle. Since this is, we've got x in the middle, I know my graph is going to be in the middle. I'll have open circles because there's no equal sign, and then I will shade in between those two. Okay, the keyword for this video is elephant. Alrighty, number 9, it says to graph y equals 5 minus 3x. I know that I'm going to start up at 5, and then since my slope is negative 3, I'm going to go down 3 and over 1. And I have my graph. Right, the next one I have 2x plus 3y equals 9. We would like to solve this for y before we try to graph it, so I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. So I'll get 3y equals 9 minus 2x, and then we're going to divide all 3 parts by the 3, so we'll get y equals 3 minus 2/3 x. So on this one, my graph is going to start at 3, and then I'm going to go down 2 over 3, down 2 over 3. And then we've got it. There's my other graph.